What's up, YouTube? I don't know if anyone's going to remember, but a few years ago, I made a video and I was talking about many different things, but I noticed something today that has resurfaced, I guess you could say, and it makes perfect sense. I was talking to my niece today, and we were talking about some issues and problems that she's having with her daughter, or my niece, specifically with the type of boys she's meeting and hanging out with and everything that goes along with that. So I was talking to my niece, and she's telling me she's doing this and she's doing that, and she said this and she said that, and I sent her to my mom's house because my mom was pretty much always complaining and feeling like she could do it better. So I sent her to my mom's house to let my mom handle it. So we start talking about people who are enablers and what that means and what that looks like, and different things like that. But I'm gonna say this part first, and then I'll circle back if I can remember. But we were talking, and it came to me tonight that it's more important, and you can disagree, it's more important for you to be with a good partner, a good husband, a good wife, a good girlfriend, a good boyfriend, or whatever, than it is for you to have, a big house together, or nice cars together, or have the best of this and the best of that. Even if you live in what looks like a very secure and stable environment, excuse me, it's more dangerous to the children for you to be in a bad relationship, because you can send them to the best schools, you can put them in the best camps and all these different types of things, but they still got to come home. And what they come home to and what they witness on a regular basis and what they live with on a regular basis is more important than those material things that you can surround them with. So what does that mean? What it means is you can't fake the way you feel about somebody, or the way you're being treated, or the way you're being mistreated. Your kids are going to pick up on that. Excuse me. They're going to pick up on the sarcasm. They're going to pick up on your mood changes. They're going to pick up on tension. They're going to pick up on difficulties and hard times. They may not know how to express themselves at 5 years old, at 15 years old, at 18 years old, at 20 years old, but the damage has been done. Because you either, and this could go either way, you either were the abuser, the person who was mentally abusive, physically abusive, emotionally abusive, financially abusive, controlling, all those things to their mom or to their dad, whichever way it went. And your kids saw how you were affected by those things. I'm sorry, y'all. Now, maybe the kids didn't say anything about it. They just tried to please you by doing whatever they could do to make you happy. And they went on about their life. But here's the thing. You've been teaching them what type of behavior is acceptable. Even if you rebelled against it and rejected it as much as you could verbally and in whatever other ways you could, you stayed in that situation. And essentially you're teaching them that that's okay. Whatever it was, it's okay. And they're going to go out and meet people, and that's probably what they're going to be attracted to, because it's what is normal for them. Now you can try to guide them in a different way and say, look for this type of young lady, or look for that type of young man. But people are going to be attracted to and like whoever they like. That part you can't control. And how this comes back to a video I made a long time ago is that I said in that video that I knew the type of people within a few minutes that I didn't like, or I wasn't attracted to, not necessarily physically, but just their energy, their vibe. So I was raised in a big family, 2 sisters, a lot of cousins. Most of my family is, in this same area. So even when I would go to my cousin's house, it would be all of us there. Maybe my grandmother's around, or maybe one of my great cousins is around. But we got that love from them. So we know what love looks like and what it feels like based on our experience with our parents. And fortunately, they loved us. And we know that's how love is supposed to feel. Or that's what we think love is supposed to feel like. So here's the thing. If you're in a relationship with someone and that person is, like I said, mentally abusive, verbally abusive, physically abusive, financially abusive, all these different types of things, this is what you've given your kids as a tool and as a guide to go by. So when they get into a situation where someone has grown up in a situation where they've been mistreated, and that's their quote unquote love language, is to mistreat people and to abuse people, they're going to do that to your son or to your daughter, because that's what they know. How are they going to do anything other than that if they've never seen anything other than that? They know what conflict resolution looks like based on how things went with their mom and their dad, or their grandmother or their grandfather. And kids really do think about things like Why mom and dad can't get along. Is it my fault? What can I do to make things different? How can I ease the tension? Maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do that. And they can for a little while. They can make you happy for a little while. And everything can be fine for a little while. But that doesn't make the person not an abusive partner. They still are whoever they are. So I just really had to put that out there because, my niece was telling me how she grew up, how her household was. What went on with my sister and her husband. And the things that she witnessed and went through and experienced. And then I saw, growing up with her, the type of men that she chose. But luckily, she was smart enough to end those relationships quickly. Even though she had kids with these people, she was able to get out of those relationships because she knew what she had seen, and she knew that if she stayed, those things would continue with her. And now that she has a daughter, what do we see? Her daughter choosing the same type of guys that her mom was attracted to, that her grandma was attracted to. People not working, using drugs, drinking, smoking, this type of thing. And of course, this is just somebody can say this is a individual type thing or whatever. It just happened to this person or that person. But you can make a bad relationship work. People do it all the time. That's what some people would say. But the truth is, it's probably going to have some negative effects on other people that you care about. Number one, yourself, and then your children are going to be affected by that as well. Nobody's going to have a perfect childhood, but certain things, they stick with you. Certain experiences stick with you. So in your efforts to do the best that you can for your children, it has to be many different things. It can't just be, oh, I'm gonna do this one thing because this is what my kids need. They need a 2-parent household, for example. But basically, what I'm saying is a 2-parent household is good. It's not always the answer, but a lot of times it's better than a single-parent household just financially. No one wants to see their kids struggle, especially if you're trying to buy Jordans and this type of clothing, and you want to get them a car, and you want them to be able to do all these different things in life like everyone else, have the best of the best. The only way to really do that is for you yourself to have a good job and a good support system, or it's 2 of you guys working together. And I'll end with this. You know, guys and girls, really. So I'll just say people. But people know from what they've seen from other people how to manipulate people, how to get people to do what they want them to do. Now, I was telling my niece today, when I was growing up, one thing that we learned from older guys, and we didn't realize it in the moment, was we saw older guys with girls, and we would see them abuse the girls, a lot of times just talking to them. You stupid. You're this, you're that. You ain't this, you ain't that. And sometimes the girls would be very attractive. Seemed like they had everything in order. But the girls probably wanted to change this person in the sense that, they were like, so-and-so is a nice looking guy or whatever. And if I can just get him to stop doing this or get him to do that, he wouldn't be so bad. I could work with, that. But the reality is the guy's abusive. He's an ass. He's a bum. All these different kinds of things. And you want to work with that. And that's your business. But what I'm saying is we learned as boys how to manipulate girls, how to control them in the sense of being abusive, because we saw other guys doing it. And that's not to say that we did that same thing, but it was something that we learned how to break a female, basically. If she's pretty and she, gives you the time of day or whatever, then you can't let her think that she's pretty, because then, she'll be all in her head. Everybody wants me, and blah, 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 and you might lose her, and blah, 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 and things like that. So you would find the guy, he would break his promises. He would say, he was going to be someplace and he wouldn't come, or he would be late, or, he would just do dumb, aggravating stuff. And the girl is like, I know I'm, good enough. I'm better than he thinks I am. So I'm going to prove to him that I am the one that he should be with. And you would find them sticking with this person year after year. They freshmen, they sophomores, they juniors, they're seniors. And, everybody around them is looking at them like, she's still with that bum. She's still with that loser. She's still doing this. She's still doing that. And sometimes it was the other way around. That girl's a hoe. And he's still messing with her. Everybody can see it but him. He's so stupid. Blah, 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 blah. And, the girl's messing with this guy, messing with that guy, and got a bad reputation. And, he wants her. The whole Kanye West story, basically. Everybody been with Kim Kardashian. And Kanye still want her for whatever reason. People that made videotapes with her. But he still gotta have her. What can you do with something like that? Nothing. You gotta let it run its course. And now they're not together anymore, whatever, and everybody has been telling him the whole time, she's a waste of space. You need to get rid of her. But, it is what it is. That's their business. And I'm not talking about them specifically, but, I guess I was, but, it's just a shame that sometimes everybody can see it but you. But, the main thing that I wanted to get out was, what me and my niece were talking about. What we kind of figured out was, my niece kept saying that, she was telling her mom or my sister that, She wants her kids in a safe environment and whatever, and she don't want her kids around this and that, which would be like drinking or smoking, or a lot of different people at the house drinking and smoking, and her kids are there. And she's telling her mom, I'm not going to bring my kids over there if this is going on and if that's going on. When the reality is, you already know that's going on, and you're still taking them over there. You're just threatening your mom, saying you're not going to take them over there, but you're going to take them over there because you've been taking them over there. You're asking your mom to change her behavior when you're bringing the kids to her house. You're bringing the kids to the mess and asking your mom not to let it be messy when you bring them. You see that? You're bringing your kids, or you're keeping your kids in a bad situation that you don't want them to be in, but you're the one that's putting them in that situation. So I had to tell my niece, your mom is your mom. She does things the way she does things, and her reality is her reality, and she feels the way she feels about things, and that's why she does what she does. Your mom has a history. You know what it is because you went through it with me tonight. This happened, that happened. She did this, she did that. You know how your mom does things. You know how your mom runs her house. Now your mom is in charge of your daughter, and neither one of y'all have control. And your daughter is a victim of all the things that have happened before. So you telling your mom you're not going to bring the kids over there if she's doing this and if she's doing that because you deem that behavior bad or unsafe or whatever the case may be, that's crazy. You are the one that has to change. You have to find a different place to take your kids, or to have your kids after school or whatever the case may be, other than your mom's, because right now you're telling your mom, I'm dependent on you to do the right thing in order for my kids to be safe. Don't depend on someone else to change their behavior if you want your kids to have a good situation. You put them in a good situation, which is keeping them away from the things that you say are bad for them or will hurt them. So I just had to get that out there. I don't know, who that's for, who that helps. But when I talked to my niece today and I was like, man, we had this conversation, or this conversation was a part 2 or a part 1 of something that's still going on today. And like I said, it's more important for you to be with someone who loves you correctly, who cares about you, who wants to see you do good, and who wants you to win, who wants your kids to win, so forth and so on, than it is for you to provide them with, a big house, a car to drive at 16 years old, things like that. The education is good, but what's mostly important is that home life. That home life is where they're going to get all their tools that they go forward with in life. It's going to be where they learn to solve problems. What does confrontation look like? What does conflict resolution look like? So your kids learn all their tools at home. So if that home situation is messed up, those kids are victims. So that's the reality of the situation. So as a family, we have to get together and figure out, okay, well, the kids are going to go here after school, so forth and so on, because we can't take them to grandma's house anymore because grandma's, husband does this. Grandma's husband doesn't do that. That's the reason that particular place isn't a good environment, because while my kids are there, they're going to pick up, this behavior and that behavior, and they'll be, far more advanced in negative things than other kids. Some kids, I was looking at a little kid tonight and he was dancing. I'm like, there's no way in the world no 10-year-old should be dancing like that. But what can you do? He's already learned that. You can't unlearn what you know. You can't unsee what you've seen. So, it is what it is. That home life is where you get all your tools. And, I hope that, we can, take those little life lessons or whatever they are and make the best of them. But I put that out there, and it is what it is. I said what I said, and I hope it helps somebody. You guys have a good night.